So for this video, I'll be talking about lightning. And I'll start off with this image of a bike wheel. Why I brought this up is because I kind of talked about this a little bit, like just a tad bit in training, but this is kind of how we want our Lighten to look. So, um, this hub right here, the center, right, can be regarded as the shaft hole, right? And then as you see these spokes, these will be our lightens. So you see how they're all kind of going out and like to the rim of the bike, right? Kind of like this. Connect to the hub and then just going out straight and then just connecting them to a rim, right? That is how we want our lighten to look. You'll notice that there are no spokes going across like this. They're all from the rim going to the hub, right? Um, And this is an image of Argon's gearbox from last year. And I drew out how their Lighten sketch would look like. If you guys remember, the Lighten sketch is where we would draw these goofy line, not goofy line. I don't know why I said goofy. I felt like saying goofy. Anyway, Lighten sketch is where we draw these lines, right, and make triangles, then press on those triangles, and they would create these like little pockets. So this is most likely how Argon's lightened will look like, right? You can see that kind of three main points or like main hubs, right? So the main centers of the bike wheel are right here, and the motor. If you notice in our current plate design right now, we have six holes. So we have this one and this one, but they don't have them, which we will fix in a bit. They only have one, two, three, four. So that's like the only main difference, I guess. And also like some profiling, but as you can see here, they do not have, they kind of connected each line to each um main point, I guess, or main hub, right? Yes, there are these lines going away, like kind of being outliers, but they all still have a mini hub, right? These holes, these 0.196 holes, are the hubs for these lines right here, right? This is a hub, mini hub, this hub, mini hub, mini hub, mini hub, right? Also, very important thing, if you notice, I drew out the white lines all the way to the edge of the gearbox. If you don't do this and you just end the line right here on the center of the hole, in the lightened, you will not be able to select, for example, this section because it won't count it as a closed sketch. But we'll get into that later. And then if you notice as well, a lot of their shapes are, well, most of their shapes I would say are triangles, but they do have some quadrilaterals, like right here. They have another trapezoid right here, maybe this one right here, right? But mostly triangle, 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 triangle. Basically triangles, right? Um, And then another really important point is they connect their hubs. What did shoot, just erased it. Wait, there you go. Okay. Another point thing is that they connect their hubs, centers of the bike wheel. They connect their hubs, or well, I guess we can call them holes now. Their holes to each other. So this is the center of one point of one hole. They connect it to the center of this main hole, and then they go and they connect it to the center of this main hole. And then they proceed to connect these mini hubs, or the 0.196 holes, to the bigger hubs, or the bigger holes, right? So you have this line, you have this line, 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 all connecting to the bigger holes, right? So that is basically a breakdown of how Argon's layout, Lighten's sketch, would look like. Another really interesting thing is you see this hole right here. If you look at all the other holes where they drew the lines through, they go through the center of the hole, right? Here, I'm pretty sure they made a tangent, right? Because this is how the spacer would look like. Yeah. And then they made a tangent so they won't have this big bulge. uh, kind of right in the middle of their strand. So just another nice thing to point out to maybe make the profile look nicer, right? So yeah, let's just move on to our current gearbox. So this is how our gearbox plate looks like, or it should look somewhat similar. I mean, here I know you created your own plate, so um, I can work with you on uh your plate later, like through DMs. Anyway, this is how your plate should look like, or approximately should look like. And the first thing you want to do, I'm gonna do some purple color. Oh, dude, I feel like Mr. Schulten right now. I'm not gonna lie, but anyway, I will first want to mark out the main hubs, right? Or the main holes of this plate. So I see three, right? I see one, I see two, and I see three. Cool. Now, another thing I'm going to do, or what we're going to do is when I go into Onshape, is we will get rid of these two holes because we literally do not have a way to get to them. There is a gear in the way, and I'll show you that in Onshape in just a bit. But just trust me for now, we don't need these holes. These two holes, okay? We're gonna keep one, two, three, four because we can actually put screws to them without obstructing the gearbox. So I'm gonna place a point. I'm gonna draw a point in the middle of these lines, these main holes, right? So one, two, and three. Okay, cool. Now, how about the mini hubs? Well, I know that, or like mini hubs. I keep calling them mini hubs. I don't know. I looked at this wheel, and then now my brain is like, okay, hubs and mini hubs. But I'm gonna try to go back to saying bigger holes and smaller holes. So now we want to put a point on these smaller holes right here, right? You have one, two, one, two, one, one. Right. Now, a big difference between our gearbox and Argon's gearbox is that Argon's gearbox has a bit more holes for yeah, has more like 0.196 holes, right? They have three over here, they have more over here, over here, over here, over here. While this whole space for us is just empty, as well as this space over here and this space over here. But we can deal with that. So first step, put points on like all the smaller holes in the main hubs. Second step would be to connect these main holes together. So literally just draw a line from center to center of each hole, right, like that. And then, yes, I know that this doesn't count as a large hole, but I know that we can now draw a line up to here, and we want to make sure that this line is coincident with with the point of the smaller hole up here. So it should be something like this. Now, let's just try to see um let's just stop and analyze how this is going to look like right now if we were to lighten it. So if you look in Argons, each of these lines represent a strand. A strand is kind of where you have uh, this little spot with like a channel, I guess you could call it, in material. Call it a strand, right? There's a strand here. This whole thing is a strand. This whole thing is a strand. So these lines mark the centers of your strands. So that being said, we now know that we're going to have a strand that will look something like this, centered on the purple line. Okay, that's why we draw outlines. We center our strands on them. Okay, cool. So we've connected our bigger holes together. Now we want to start connecting the smaller holes, and well, this will be after, but filling up this whole space. So let's just start doing it. I see a bunch of triangles, a bunch of possibilities to make triangles in this area because we can draw outlines from this hole to the smaller hole, these three holes around here. And now if you see, if we draw a line out like this, we have two nice little triangles. And we can also just do it with this one as well, right? Cool. Um, gosh, dude. There you go. Now, okay, now what we can do is we can draw a strand out to you, just like this, and you, just like I'm thinking right now. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, and then so see, I drew a nice little triangle like that, right? And yes, you might say that, well, hold up, this kind of does go across it kind of does do this, but you have to keep in mind that from the perspective of this hole, this is a spoke, and then from perspective of this hole, this is its spoke. So yeah, everything's good there, right? Now we're gonna have now looking from a Lighten's perspective, now we know there's gonna be a strand here, a strand here, a strand here, and all of this space in the center will be hollowed out like this. Same over here. Strand here, strand here, strand here, and a hole in the center. Okay, let's just keep connecting stuff together. Um, Now what I'll do is remember how Argon had like a couple of trapezoids, right? We see this one, this one, this one, and this one. I will make a trapezoid connecting from uh this point, this hole, to the center of the bigger hole over here, like this, right? And yes, I could theoretically make a hole go out here, but if I do make that, let's just say I do draw that out. So it looks something like this. I will now have a strand that goes like that, strand that goes like this, another strand that goes like this, and it will just won't really result in a lot of material loss. It'll be maybe something like this, right? So you might as well just leave this whole space in the center open for lightning, or for pocketing, I should say. Okay. Um, let's just keep on connecting stuff together. And I actually made a mistake here. I did not need to put these lines together. What I instead needed to do is I should have connected the lines to the edge of the plate instead of just ending them on the center of the point, right? It's the same thing as I did here. I made sure that my purple line is coincident with the outside, with the edge of the plate, and it's coincident with the center point of the smaller hole. Same thing here. And you as well. So it should look something like that. Okay, cool. And then remember how we made like a weird little trapezoid over here? Well, won't be really a trapezoid. It'll be more of a weird shape, but what I'm thinking is we can do something like this, right? So draw out another line that is coincident with the outside edge, coincident with these 2 points over here. And then now what this will look like is it'll look something like this, which should be fine. Okay, all right, let's keep going. We can add another strand over here, and then that should be it. Yeah, that's gonna be all of our smaller holes connected to the bigger holes. Now, if we stop there, what's going to happen is in these large areas right here, what's going to happen is, yes, we'll get a strand there, and yes, we'll get strands here, but then it'll have the freedom to just literally light pocket this whole chunk, which is no bueno because it doesn't provide a lot of structural integrity for the plate in general, right? So that's why we want to now add sketch lines in this area. Now, yes, there are no smaller holes to connect to connect the lines to, but we can just use on-chip constraints and it'll be fine. Um, so right now I just got two ideas. We can first make a horizontal line going out to the edge of the gearbox right here. And then we can make a vertical line going to the gearbox right here. And nice. So we've covered up this area a little bit. But now I can think, yeah. Now we can add another line, another strand, I should say, that goes like this. So now we have strand here, strand here, strand here. This will be pocketed, this will be pocketed, this will be pocketed, and now this whole space will be pocketed. Cool. Let's do this. Let's do the same over here as well. Um, and I might have done a mistake here. Yes, I did do a mistake. Cool. We do not need. Just got another idea. So I'm gonna erase this line because, well, let's just say I keep it. Right. I want to make this spoke go out to the edge. Right. And then if I keep this line, it kind of makes a weird strand. And my plan originally was just to make a horizontal line going out here. So, like, ultimately, this strand is not needed. I can erase it. Okay, cool. So we've got a horizontal line over here. Let's make one on the other side that goes out over there to the edge of the gearbox. Nice. We've filled up this area a little bit. So now the pocketing will look something like this, I would say. And but now problem, we have a lot of space over here without any strands. So again, we just make a strand that goes to the edge over here, another one that goes to the edge over here. And for these ones, we can kind of just do a nice like measure dimensionally wise. Dimensionally wise, is that how you say it? Measurementally wise? Dimension tool wise. Um, we can just make it look nice. So I know that the angle between this line and this line is going to be a 90-degree angle. So I can just place this angle at 45 degrees as well as this angle on the other side. And I'll be fine, right? Okay. Is there anything that I'm missing? I'm thinking, should we add a line that goes like this? No, I feel like that would be too much. Yeah. Okay. And I think that's basically it. So, um, right now, I would say to make this sketch on your gearbox plate. Um, or if your gearbox plate is slightly different than mine, make it like similar, or like I guess using the same ideals. And then I'll quickly do that on my gearbox and we'll get into the Lighten sketch. So if you're gonna recap real quickly, one, you want to place points, bigger holes at centers of bigger holes. Two, you want to, I don't know why I'm writing it down, honestly. I thought I would look cool if I start writing it down, but now I'm just realizing it's just a waste of time. So one, place points, bigger holes. Two, place points, smaller holes. Three, connect the bigger holes together, kind of like this, right? And four, start connecting stuff together. Like, start connecting the smaller holes to your bigger holes. And then five, fill up any space, like over here where we didn't have any holes, with some nicely dimensioned strands. Okay, I'm gonna go to Onshape now. Now you should have this sketch on your plate. Okay, should look something like this. Couple notes. Make sure that you don't have, for example, a line that goes from here to here, and then a line going like this, right? You want these lines to be parallel, so it should look something like that. Same, for example, over here. Um, Make sure that you go out to the edges of the gearbox and you don't just end your lines just at the center point. We don't want that. Make sure it goes out. And then when you do make it go out, make sure that it is coincident with the center of the smaller hole. So it not like this, okay? You want to click on this line, click on the center point of the circle, press I, aka coincident, and they should look something like this. Okay, cool. So let's lighten it now. So you can go ahead and press check mark, right? And now if you go into your feature script dropdown and you go into lighten, you should see this. A couple of settings. So faces to remove, this is like, see if I hover over my triangles, it now selects them. So this is how you select which, like, I guess sections you want to remove. Thickness of walls is how thick you want the strands to be. So 0.2 inches means they'll be 0.2 inches wide, 0.3, 0.3 inches wide, etc., etc., etc. Girls maybe like a quarter inch. I think we'll probably aim 3 for over here and do maybe a smaller stranding over here. We'll see how it works out. Blind. I haven't tinkered around with this too much, but these are the settings that we used, well, that I use. So the tool radius, put it as 16th inch. If you put it at 0.2, you'll probably get a bunch of errors. Okay. Um, so basically make sure that the panel looks the same as this one. Let's just start selecting on sections. Now, if you, for example, select this one, you'll notice that a pocket appears. Go ahead and select every single section. And then I'll quickly do that. Okay, 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 okay. So this is with a thickness of zero point 0.2 inches. I will change mine to zero point 0.3 and we'll see what happens. Okay, so you see how these parts still look good, right? The strands became a bit thicker, so like everything inside will be a bit stronger, less likely to collapse, while we are still removing a good amount of material. Over here, however, we've gotten to the point where we aren't really removing a lot of material in order to make it lighter. So for these sections, I will actually make a separate lightened. So I'm gonna go ahead and unselect these two, make sure everything else here is selected, press check mark, rename it right now. Please rename it to something that makes sense. I mean, here, I swear, if you do like something Polish, I will actually force you to do Tambar CAD. Okay, Pear Deck CAD even. Okay, I will literally start a Pear Deck just for you. I will buy a Pear Deck license just for you to do 5 minutes of Pear Deck CAD. Okay. Anyway, I'm done with the ranting. So you've checkmarked your lightened. Now make a new lightened, and then right now you'll notice that your sketch has disappeared. Why has your sketch disappeared? It's because it became hidden. So go ahead and unhide it. And now instead of thickness of the walls zero point 0.3, let's make it zero point 0.2. Okay, we'll start there, and if we need to, we can bump it up a little bit. So then remove these three sections. Okay, zero point 0.2 looks nice. Let's try 0.25. Okay, 0.25. See how it became a bit smaller. At least my gut is telling me that point 0.2 looked good, right? It removed a decent amount of material, so it made it lightened. Well, 0.25 kind of made everything, it's made a small hole. I would say it doesn't, we haven't reached like its, I guess, goodness yet. At least that's my gut feeling. If you feel 0.25 is good, go for it. So zero point 0.2, check mark, rename it right now. Me here, I'm looking at you. And now you should have something that looks like this. Now, if you go into the assembly, you'll see that, ooh la la, everything's changed and it looks kind of cool, actually. I didn't put my shafts in, but make sure to finish this up as well. This is also part of your homework. Um, yeah, I just caught you. Yeah, how do you feel? I caught you over a YouTube video. Anyway, now if you'll notice, you probably already noticed and are probably already are panicking. I do not have these two holes, right? If you go into our sketch for the actual plate itself, you'll notice that I made these two holes construction. So go ahead and do that. I should have told you in the first place. Make these two holes construction so they don't appear in your extrude. And then you might have to change up a couple of errors might show up. I'm not sure if they will. Wait, let me try actually. Look over here, I do that. What will happen? Okay. Yeah, so you know, a couple of errors might pop up. I believe in you guys to fix those. Extra practice anyway. There you go. So it should look something like this, with these two holes non-existent. Now, why are they non-existent? Because their locations was literally right behind this gear. Okay, one was right there, right here, and the other one was God knows where. I don't know where it is. Right. Long story short, I don't like we're not going to be able to get to them. So why have them there in the first place? Right? It's just more material. It also simplifies your lighting a little bit. Okay, cool. That's one of the panels. For this panel, um, what you can do, let's see how this panel actually looks like. So this is the non-motor plate for me. Okay. Um, okay, so I think we can literally just use project, right? And just start. So I made a new sketch on this face, and let's just see what happens if we, okay, actually project might not work. It'll work for some though. Okay, yeah. So for example, let's project, stop projecting. So project this line, project this line, this line, this line. Uh, these lines look good. All these lines look good. Okay, and stop there. We're gonna have to make new ones for these ones. So, um, let's connect this smaller hole to the center. Make sure that it is connected to the center, coincident with the center point. Okay. Let's see what happens if I do this. If I kind of go like that. Okay, yeah, there you go. I like that. And then we can make, actually, no, let's do this instead. We'll make a horizontal line out here, and then connect these lines together like that. Then we can connect this line to this hole. Look, I don't want a tangent. Connect this line to the bigger hole right there, coincident with the center of the smaller hole, and there you go. So let's see how this looks like. Okay, I'm gonna check mark this. I'll press and make another line. And you can honestly, what you can do is you can move these lightens up, right, above sketch two, and now you can click on sketch one. Never mind, it won't work. Okay, you can move them back down if you want to. I'm gonna make new lightens. So I'm gonna make a new lighten. Now 0.3 inches, and I will start pressing on these ones and see how it looks like. Okay, yeah, I actually quite like that. All right, yeah, cool. So this is now the other plate. And now if you go into your assembly, this is how it should look like. And that is how you do lightened, right? You treat each like big hole, like major hole, as the hub of a bike wheel, and you quite literally want to start putting spokes in. So first you want to connect your big holes together. So strand over here, strand over here. And then start connecting the smaller hub. So strand, 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 strand. And then you can even use a couple of trapezoids here and there, maybe some quadrilaterals. And then in the end, it should look something like this. Hopefully that cleared up some things for you guys. I will make some practice in the resource training folder for you guys to work on as well. But first, lighten this gearbox that we just made. You can use it following this. You do it following this. Well, you probably already did do it. Um, yeah, probably did do it. So make sure your the gearbox you made in during the training meeting is fully lightened. And then for the multi-stage gearbox that is your homework, try to lighten it as well. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys.